My people. So, Loon and I were setting up here for our show today, and as we were about to record, we saw that this new Star Wars game has been officially announced. And this is something that was rumored for the longest time that a Respawn Star Wars turn-based tactics game was in development. And yeah, it's officially announced. The lead developer is going to be BitReactor, and this is a lot of former XCOM developers who got together to form this studio. So I'm assuming this is going to be a very XCOM-esque Star Wars turn-based tactics game. And Loon, how does that sound to you? XCOM with a Star Wars skin on it? Is that appealing to you?
So I'll begin by saying it is appealing to me. However, seeing the reception that Midnight Suns got,
Mm-hmm.
I'm very, very concerned. I don't know why people are so quick to tear something like that down because we don't really get all that, especially on console. Like obviously you have the mobile market that's flooded with different stuff, but on console there isn't really strategy games in them IPs like for Marvel and stuff. We've been given Spider-Man, and stuff like that, but you didn't really get anything creative like what was Midnight Suns. And like it's the thing of like it's not going to be for everybody, but for those that enjoy it, like myself, like I thought it was a breath of fresh air to be honest. It was a really cool
Yeah.
spin on what they would set out to do in an XCOM game, but kind of compacting it, if that makes sense. Instead of you exploring a huge map, it was just like a battle scenario. And by them also scaling that back, it made for some really cool, interesting, like environmental combat uh, interactability, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
If you remember
totally.
that.
And I do, yeah, like where you could explode certain,
Yeah.
objects and, characters that go flying and I do want to go ahead out the gate because you touched on it a second ago about the mobile market being flooded with turn-based tactics game and that genre typically being associated with mobile. And as soon as you look at the comments for this Star Wars Zero Company game, you're seeing people, going like, "Oh, is it it's a mobile game or oh, I'm not looking for this." And then we'll talk about that in a second as well, but this is not a mobile game. Like from EA Star Wars official Twitter account, they say it's coming to PC, PS5, and Series X and S consoles. They're not even mentioning that it's coming to last gen. So I think this might be a little bit bigger than we're expecting. That's the thing. Whenever you hear turn-based tactics, I do agree with people that it's like you immediately do think to a smaller scaled experience. But not seeing last gen hardware on there at all, I begin going, okay, well, what exactly is the angle here? Like, why not on PS4 is we're seeing big AAA games not abandon, PS4 and scaling back to the PS4. So, like, what is the thing going to be that's preventing this from being on PlayStation 4 consoles?
I don't think it's particularly graphics that would hold it back. When I played through XCOM 2 at launch, it was a decent experience on uh, the Xbox One console, but what I noticed was there was a weird lag, if that makes sense. Like, do you know how you like get lag in like a multiplayer game?
Yeah.
It existed in the single player. Like, it's not connecting to servers like Metal Gear Solid 5 did and stuff like that. So you're not getting hitched that way. It was just weird optimization. I think it's less so like the graphical powerhouse that they wouldn't be able to match on that. It's more so probably the processor and stuff like that. Like, there's so much that goes on because you would have, for instance, like playing this on. This is why it hasn't been announced for Switch, has it? Or has it?
I don't think so. Not Switch either.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
because the Switch one, you could play like Civ 5 on it, I believe. And I think I've spoken about it before, and it would be like, several minutes to pass a single turn.
Right.
And that was the same with like Football Manager when they first brought that to Game Pass. on the original Xbox One consoles. Like it had limitations. You couldn't load as many leagues. It would take much longer to move the calendar forward and stuff like that. So I think they're going to obviously lose a massive player base from them like sets of consoles, but it's probably going to be they would gain, I would hope, optimization and the game running smoother because trying to get that to run on them them consoles, it would be very painful. I think, especially if they're pushing it forward even more. So
So I'm
yeah,
looking here, Loon. No mention of Switch or last gen at all, but also no mention of Switch 2. And you could officially announce for Switch 2 at this point because obviously we know the date, we know the software lineup, we know the specs of the hardware. So like I am very, very curious about this. And I should say we're going to get more information for their Star Wars celebration on April 19th.
yeah,
And Bit Reactor and Respawn will be on panel as well as some head honchos for Lucasfilm Games to, get a first look at the game. So I'm really, really curious. But that, like you're saying, I think that this might be a little bit more than we're expecting. And to your point as well, maybe it doesn't necessarily mean graphical power. That it doesn't mean that this is going to be the Baldur's Gate 3 of turn-based tactics game. Like, I'm
yeah,
not. I
I think
don't know if that's the right expectation to set. I don't know if you're going to go into this game making crazy decisions and having, fucking all this mo-capped, incredibly well animated cutscenes. And I don't know. And that's the thing. We don't know. I would say probably don't go in expecting that. I don't think that's a good expectation to be set. Um, but I do kind of want to talk there for a second about what is the evolution of this genre because
full
we
interactability. That's an easy,
okay.
like easy thing. Like everything has to be interactable. And what I mean by that is you had XCOM 2 that came out and it did like it did fairly well in that, wheelhouse, but we'd hoped for a little bit more of a jump than what we got from Enemy Within, Enemy Unknown into XCOM 2. A game that actually did push that a little bit harder was Phoenix Point, and I believe it was from the original creator of XCOM. Um, and there was a lot more going on in that game. It just ran like shit. And this is the thing of like that's why I think they don't want to put it on to them other generation of consoles. Because I think Phoenix Point was available on Xbox One and it just ran terribly. It's already like hard enough to develop something like that to feel good to play on a controller, but when you're also fighting the hardware at every single turn of like, oh, if I blow this building up, it just crashes the game, or it makes
Ah,
it lag or stuff like that, or just AI just breaking. Like the big thing in these turn-based games, because I think even Wasteland 3 had this issue. Sometimes you just have I think they've even put in built-in timers now. If the AI can't make a decision in like 40 seconds, because sometimes they'll just stand there. You'll do your turn, and then they'll just stand there, and it's just like, what is it? What is it doing? And you're waiting. Because I think they added like a force push button basically to just make
to
the
move.
AI do
Yeah.
something because it clearly is getting hitched. If they can fix that, that'll be amazing. Because it's that and just the performance that these titles and genres like really struggle with on console. So if they're going to be aiming to put them on console and take it seriously, that's the kind of stuff that you need to, iron out.
Is there anything else you want for like okay, let's envision your dream scenario. This is best in class. This is a certified classic Loon approved title when it releases. What are the things? Because for me personally, I love the structure of Midnight Suns. And I know a lot of people do not. I know a lot of people don't like the manner setup, don't like the interaction between the characters, think it's corny, think it's cheesy. I get that. I so I grew up in the golden era of reality television. And that felt like classic reality television to me. Like you're getting an inside look into the inner dynamics between these characters in the house. And I loved that, man, setting up the book club with Blade, and he's trying to like go in there and mac on Captain Marvel. And like I just thought that it was so engaging. And I would like it to be a little bit more mature in Star Wars. What's the name of this damn thing? Zero Company. I'd like it to be more mature, but I like that peek behind the curtain and more character focused, deep dive that they do in Midnight Suns.
Um, hmm. I would like that. I don't think that they will do that. If I'm being honest, I don't think that, because that's the difference, is that when you're doing it that with Midnight Suns, you're doing it with established mainstay characters. With this, like we're both putting our hands up here. I don't know if this is like a massive like slice of Star Wars lore. Like I enjoy Star Wars, but I'm nowhere near like under the microscope pinpoint with lore is stuff. Like I know eras and that's about it. I know obviously characters and stuff, but I
Same.
don't know the extreme intricacies that some people know and stuff. So I don't know if they'd be able to pull that off. If you were giving me like a complete wish though, I would like them to somehow adapt. And this may like sound stupid, and this is just me like fully being like, man, I would love this. The Galactic Conquest kind of game mode from the original Battlefronts, but make that turn based. So
Mm.
begin in the atmosphere with like a Battlefleet Gothic style like fighting. So you have like your ships and stuff, and you're able to board the enemy ship. So maybe if you board the enemy ship, then it switches to infantry based combat of turn based, and just
Ooh.
having that kind of dynamic, having like planets that you can conquer or need to defend instead of them being locations like in XCOM where it's like you land in Africa or you land in the US and stuff like that. Land on like established like land on Coruscant and stuff like that and try and
Yeah.
defend that. Yeah, I think that could be cool.
Yeah, I dig that idea a lot. I didn't even think about something like that. And I didn't even really think about the whole I mean, you got fucking spaceships. So like what do you could do so much in
Yep.
terms of variability. Like you could have so much variety in terms of the actual gameplay encounters that you're seeing. Um yeah, I listen, I don't want to because we have no idea. You know what I mean? We have
No,
no idea what
it's all
this is going to
speculation.
be. But Star Wars games are on a little bit of a hot streak lately. When you Jedi Fallen Order changed everything. Where after Jedi Fallen Order, and listen, we don't get a ton of them, but after Jedi Fallen Order, it was like, oh, you can actually make single player high quality Star Wars experiences. And then we go into Jedi Survivor, which is a, like a ridiculously high quality video game. Both developed by Respawn, and this is
Yep.
being over. Respawn is over this project as well, and not the core developers, but they're overseeing the project. And then you have Star Wars Outlaws, which like I know if you talk to people who really played Star Wars Outlaws, you're going to get a lot of people who really, really loved that thing. And sure, you're going to get people who didn't love it as well, but like Star Wars Outlaws was at the bare minimum a good video game. Like it's a fun video game to play. Sure, you might not love it as much as KOTOR or Jedi Survivor or whatever, but it's still a good Star Wars video game. And then we get the KOTOR remake announcement, and then we have Star Wars Eclipse announced, both single player Star Wars projects. Who knows if we'll ever see those? But it's this era of single player Star Wars games, and like I don't know, I'm feeling kind of confident about this. Like I think this is probably. I guess that's where we shift the conversation, though. Unfortunately, is sure we might be excited for this. Are the masses excited for this? Do they need to be excited for this? How like because Midnight Suns did not perform well.
No,
Um,
but the difference is as well is we've seen a massive spike in it's called Star Wars Legion, I believe, tabletop game. So you're
okay.
seeing people being introduced, or even the existing fans that have moved over to. I think those people, this is who they're trying to target because it's been steadily on the rise, popularity wise. moving up into the wider masses of tabletop gaming to actually take it seriously because it's so hard to break into tabletop that so many of them like do 2 years of it and then go bust. For instance, because it's just like, look, it's an expensive hobby. People have dumped thousands into Warhammer. You need to like set yourself apart to really have a chance of surviving in that. So I think they're the people that they'll be targeting first and foremost, and obviously dropping the XCOM name in there, so that you have all the people that are going to be yearning for that. So I don't know. I think it's going to do much better and be much more well received than that Rainbow Six game is,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
a lot of modern Rainbow Six fans aren't those that played the slower, more tactical games, so they're not understanding what they're missing out on. Because it ain't, well, they're probably not missing out on anything because it's not their type of thing. But
Right.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
this will do probably better than Midnight Suns, but I don't. It's not going to be that smash hit success. It's going to be again an uphill battle, but I think it'll do better.
Yeah, and you can't really base anything on Twitter conversation or whatever, but it is just a bummer to like scroll through, oh, this new Star Wars turn-based tactics game has been announced, and people are like, why? And I'm like, what the fuck? And that's like the top, most liked comment is why. And it's like, oh, okay, you know, they probably put $50 million into this thing, and I mean, once again, that's not the masses problem though. To be very very clear, if you are putting a huge budget into a turn-based tactics game and you need it to sell 5 million copies for this thing to be successful, that's a you problem. That's not a that's not a audience problem. You
Hmm.
gotta you gotta understand. You gotta look at market trends and go, oh, okay, well, typically they sell around this amount, so we should have a budget that's for this amount, and like you should have your expectations set properly. But it's like, damn, man, at least give it a chance.
I mean, budget wise, yeah, you can argue from that angle. But the thing that annoys me is whenever anything gets announced and you have that kind of immediate reaction. Because it really annoys me, that like level of entitlement. It's like, even if you're a Star Wars fan and stuff, understand that there's going to be Star Wars fans that want more tactical experiences, that don't want a first person shooter that's set in a multiplayer setting. They don't want the Squadrons games of like flight sims and stuff like that. It just, why can't we have a bit of everything? It's a big
Totally.
enough IP that it can cater to everybody. So sitting there and being like, oh, boo, it's just like, well, you've had like, yeah, like you said, Jedi, Fallen Order, Survivor,
Hmm.
Outlaws. That's three third person shooters of fairly high quality. Like, can the tactical fans have like a shred to eat?
Yeah, third person melee, third person. Yeah, I get what you're saying. The third person perspective
Yes,
style
third
games,
person
and
action games. Like
totally.
they kind of they obviously do their own thing, but they're fairly interchangeable
I
compared to
can't
that.
lie though. A third person shooter would be so fucking sick in the Star Wars space, a third person bounty hunter Star Wars game. But I agree. It's like, let's get a little bit of everything in there, and maybe hopefully one day we can get that third person or first person bounty hunter style game. But we should get a tactic Star Wars game in the mix as well. And just hopefully it's budgeted properly and hopefully it doesn't tank the damn studio. Like those are all the things that you do. It's like, oh shit, okay. Let's not have a situation like that. Let's hope this wasn't mismanaged to hell and back. But I'm excited for this. I'm excited to see more on it. I definitely don't have that Star Wars fatigue, Marvel fatigue that most people do, but I also don't consume everything Star Wars and Marvel. I haven't watched a single Star Wars television show since like I watched a couple episodes of The Mandalorian. I was like, this is excellent, but I don't have the time to just like I play too many fucking video games to to watch Star Wars TV shows and all the Marvel TV shows and stuff. But yeah, I'm excited, man. You have any final words you want to hit off on or
No, just
that's
eagerly, and I look forward to what you said the 19th. I want
yeah,
to see. I hope there's gameplay though. If it's just a trailer
yeah.
and there's no gameplay, it's like, gee, why waste my time, guys? Come on. First
I
impressions are everything.
I think we're gonna get gameplay and a release date. I am
I hope
not an
so.
insider. I do not have inside sources. I think this is gonna come out this year. I think if you're trying to build up hype for a year plus for this thing, you're not, you need to hire new marketers. Like this isn't the type of game that's gonna sustain a
No,
year
they
plus
did
of
that
hype.
with
So,
what was it? Midnight Suns, and it
Midnight
just
Suns.
didn't work.
Absolutely. So we'll see, guys. Cool. This is really interesting. I'm really curious to see how this does and how people react to it and what the gameplay looks like and all that. So,
Yep.
yeah, we appreciate y'all. This is Game and Ramble. We talk the latest and greatest video game news, and we try to get it out to you as quick as possible. So if that is something you like, stick around, subscribe, like the video, get it out to more eyeballs. If you appreciate good old news coverage that is not centered around the latest and greatest controversy, then hey, you have found a home here with us, and we welcome you with open arms, my people. So yeah, appreciate you guys. See you very soon. Goodbye.
So later.